My name is Goodman. I'm a sculptor. I taught at Indiana University, taught in the Department of Fine Arts for about 40 years. I retired from teaching as professor emeritus and had two studios, one in Chicago and one in Los Alamos, California. I continue to work every day, work on small scale, large scale, public, private commission. Also, I write as an editor for an art magazine. I write periodic reviews and art criticism. As an artist, people will say, I do this for myself. And I say, I'm an artist because of myself. I do this because I want the work to be out in the world. I want the work to communicate. I want it to be powerful. I want it to be effective. I want it to be part of a larger landscape. And all the preparatory work, all the studies, all the time that you spend have an enormous amount of patience that you have to maintain. Just because you say that you like it doesn't mean it's good. You have an enormous responsibility to make sure that the work is as good as it could possibly be, because you're using time and resources and space to create your own idea and put it out in the world. So you want it to be powerful, effective, and a positive dialogue. Often artists fall in love with other artists and they become kind of their mentors. For me, they were, as sculptors, they were probably Giacometti, the great Italian-Swiss sculptor, Brancusi, the great French sculptor, French-Romanian, and I fell in love with their work and I wanted to be like them. And I idolized them as people, but I also saw them as artists who allowed me to see what was capable or what was possible in terms of the power of visual language. And that kind of set the bar really high in terms of my own aspirations. What I'll do is I start with drawing. I'll sit there and just draw my sketchbook. And then I'll start cutting shapes out, usually out of poster board or cardboard or press board. I take a utility knife, I cut, I fold, I bend. So within half a day, I might have 20 or 30 forms that lay on the studio floor. And then once I see where I'm going, I'll take wood and I'll cut the shapes out of wood and start putting them together, start building them. I build them, cut them, add glue and carve until I see where I'm going with a particular form. Then I'll send them to the foundry and they're sand cast and they'll come back as bronze sections. And then I'll do the finishing, the installation, and do the patination, the color. If this particular shape is going to go against the wall, I'm equally interested in the forms that surround the shape as well as the internal void, because those are equally active elements, what's there and what's not there. If it's a good piece, then it finds a life of its own in an institution and gains ownership and identity outside of yourself and no longer is related to necessarily you as an artist. Your name becomes superfluous because what is a name? It's anonymous after a certain point unless you know the person. But the forms are not. They're solid and they're there for a very, very long time. And when I was teaching it, I'd always tell my students that when you're a sculptor, you've got 10 good minutes. You get 5 minutes when you come up with the idea and you get the job, and then you get 5 minutes when you've installed the piece, and you get to step back and look at it and see how it worked with your idea But oddly enough, the one kind of pleasure you have as a public sculptor is you get to go back and look at some of the work you've created over the years, and they have their own memory of that time when you were there, and you kind of remember what that experience was like to install the work, to come up with the idea. And you see them in a lot of ways like, maybe they're like friends that you haven't been with for a long time, that you picked up the conversation again and you're glad to see for a brief time, and then you leave and you say goodbye. But they're still yours, but you're not there anymore.